Yeah, I would like to come back about the definition of a common with a dimension which I think has been a little bit forgotten. We all speak about questioning the political meaning of a common and a political perspective about common. And I think we have to come back to something which, from my perspective, is important, is common as defined by coactivity of people. And I think this is probably the base of a common. And this has a consequence, for example, in the way we see the movement of recuperation of company. Do we see them as something which is experiences like this, or do we put them into the concept of common? And obviously, I would answer yes to this second part of the alternative. Yes, I think this is commoning in the sense that workers are contesting property rights. And this is the dimension I would like to introduce, common as a negation of property. Okay? This is coactivity which comes before the rights of owners, and obviously which wants to see property rights disappearing as much as we can. Coming back from the industrial perspective of recovered company, recuperated companies, question is, and there is a contradiction in the fact that when you have a recuperation, very often the output is workers' cooperative. And a workers' cooperative, take it any way you want, this is still private property. Obviously the capital is commonly owned. Obviously there are rules which totally differs from capitalistic rules. I mean, one person, one vote, for example. I mean, very drastic limitation in remuneration of shares. But this is still private property. And I think we need to see how to bypass that in order to set up a political project. And I would like to enter into two directions in this. The first one is related with the question of the stakeholders and something that we see practically in the nowadays experience. When we see many recuperated companies, we see that very often users or local communities support these experiences for many reasons. Because, for example, the area is in a very bad situation in terms of employment, or maybe because where users want to have quality products, or because of many reasons. And what is interesting is that these experiences, we see very often users on side with workers to this. And this has influence at this time on which very often we see some associations building out close to this company, this association being associated in the company, for example, in meeting. We see this in Viomé, for example. We saw that also in Carcassonne, La Fabrique du Sud, for example. And this leads us to the idea that probably workers' cooperative will have to move forward in order to give powers to users. And I think this is a way to change the market relation, okay? Market relation is determined by exit strategy of products. I don't like the products, okay, I leave the company, I leave. No, we are establishing here direct rates, direct connections between workers and users to define the production. I think therefore we go away from market relations. How will we be in the future? I think this is a story to write now. Obviously, we have double college cooperative in which you have users, college, and workers. I'm not sure this is a solution in the sense that it is difficult to say it's X% of this, X%. I think more we have to think about differentiation of power, obviously. But this is so. This is the first dimension I wanted to talk about, and the second one is related to the question of property. As I mentioned before, a cooperative is still a private form of ownership. And good news is, I spoke yesterday about the difficulties of cooperative to finance themselves, the fact that they have very often only one partner possible. But we have also very good type of financing in which we see that 95% of the working capital has been financed by cooperative movement and its banks and so on and so on. And when I say 95%, so these are some few examples, obviously, but 95%, the question is why not 100%? I interviewed one former union delegate, which is now running a cooperative in France. I say, if it was 100%, would it work? And tell me, yes, obviously. Because what is at stake is our job. What is at stake? This is not our investment of 5%, which means absolutely nothing. So I really think that we need to think about financial tools. This was meant for before. Financial, social appropriation, socialization of financing, in order to go to 100% more and more, in order to avoid this notion of capital. As many people has mentioned, workers' cooperative turns sometimes to become some little business, and the main reason is that there is a capital, there is still a capital. And I think we need to think about this, and coming back to the concept of common, what is therefore a common? A common, it's an alliance of workers, it's an alliance of users, and it is also alliance of third parties. When third parties finance, and when all the society is financing these assets. Therefore, this is really a meeting between different stakeholders which are determined by co-activity, which build the common. I would like to end with this.
Allora, vedo che c'è Francine che voleva fare un intervento, una domanda, diciamo una risposta a quello che ha detto Benoît. E prima di dare la parola a Francine volevo verificare se ci sono altri interventi, altri... No? Ok, perfetto. Sì, ce n'è uno lì, ok. Francine...
Thank you. I just wanted to ask a question to Benoît. If you want to overcome property, what about this capital? I mean, or you just want to overcome private property? And you want to have social property? I didn't understand the ownership question.
Do you want me to react immediately? Yeah, all right.
Yes. No, mais avec un info.
Yeah, okay.
Say that. I'll make it.
Maybe I've not been clear if you're asking this question. What I was just saying is that what is the capital? The capital is the difference between assets and debts. This is the definition of a capital itself. And when you look at a company, therefore, if you consider that social financing system, I don't know how to call it, socialized financing system, finance 100% of the assets, and then the workers have nothing to bring on it. And even there is no accumulation in the sense that the accumulation goes back to the public system of financing, to financing other things. Therefore, you bypass the question of capital, and therefore you bypass this question of property. There is no longer shares, no longer, we do not call these shares in French, but I think it's the same denomination in English, it's part social. No longer this, you no longer have property and rights, and therefore the people who intervene into the company are not determined with their participation to the capital as owners, but we are determined their position towards this common, this company. We are workers, we act as if we are users, we act as this, and so on, and there is a part for the whole society inside a financial, socialized financial system. Okay, I hope I have answered your question.